Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today is our great honor to have Judge Thomas Voit from Germany Federal Patent Court and President Professor Kwang Jun from Licensing Executive Society Korea join us today to share their profession and our legendary track records. My warm welcome to Judge Voit and President Kim.
Good afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you. To your honor, would you mind enlighten us the comparative difference between German court and other European courts?
The main difference, I think, is that we in Germany have the principle of bifurcation, which means we have different courts to decide infringement and the validity of patents. That's, I think, so the most important difference between the German courts and the courts in other European countries.
Thank you, Your Honor. My question is to President Kim. You joined Intellectual Discovery this year as the CEO and Chairman. We learned Intellectual Discovery is initiated by Korean government and is the oldest IP management company in Asia, and is aiming to support the domestic company against patent trolls from the attack of so-called non-patent entity or patent asserted entities. And also you try to fortify intellectual property profiling for local industry and also help them to monetize intellectual property through licensing, commercializing, and also the most fashionable issue on standardization. So may we have you kindly share your vision and what is your managing philosophy for your company?
Thank you, Mei, for your question. From your question, sounds like I have my hands full. But I'm really very excited to be in the position leading. Like you said, intellectual discovery is one of the oldest and leading IP investment and service outfit in Asia, and this is a very important time because the developing countries or much of Asia is now exploding with business opportunities, and we're going global. So IP is very important, and we should recognize opportunities and maybe important steps to help our business grow global.
Thank you, President Kim. Recently, we have heard a lot of litigation ongoing worldwide, so we have this opportunity to ask the opinions from our honorable judge. We learned that German Federal Patent Court is becoming very important in IP matters. How would you compare German federal courts compared to the other European courts?
Thank you, Mei-Hsin. Let me begin with the fact that comparison between courts is always difficult, but I guess the advantage of the German courts is that there are three courts like Düsseldorf, Mannheim and Munich, which are pretty specialized in infringement matters. And we have, besides that, the German Federal Patent Court for validity matters. And so we have some specialization, which is a little bit stronger, I guess, than in some other countries in Europe.
Thank you, Your Honor. President Kim, we are aware early this year you just take responsibility to manage intellectual discovery. Would you mind kindly address what is your consideration for the competitive advantage for Asian IP management service company to differentiate us from US and European IP management company?
Yes, it's an important question. When you look at the IP landscape on global stage, for example, if you look at United States, where a lot of actions are taking place, like litigations and licensing activities, and also Europe, there are many IP special houses, like to name a few, like Acacia, Intellectual Ventures, RPX, and maybe AST2, they are all located in the West, meaning they developed alongside the development of their businesses. But if you look at Asia, situation is a little different. We are just starting to have this concept in the region, and we need to learn maybe and even adapt to our new environment. And what's the competitive edge we have, I think, is maybe we can learn from what happened in the West and not to repeat their mistakes. And maybe we can do a little bit better than what they did already. So I think we are very hopeful that we can be very competitive on a global stage.
Thank you, President Kim. It's a very informative and very encouraging. We have heard from Judge Voit. You mentioned you have other courts more than Munich, such as Düsseldorf and Mannheim. We wonder, is there any difference among these German courts? For example, the time to trial or any other difference?
Thank you, Mei-Hsin. It's a very interesting question because the courts in Munich, Mannheim and Düsseldorf began a little bit a race who is the fastest, and for example Munich only needs 9 months between the action and the decision in the first instance. So at the moment we have a little bit a race between these courts.
Thank you very much. Well, thank you for Judge to give us very interesting and very important message. They will be very good for company when they decide where to sue. Then the next question I would like to ask President Kim. We heard, we learned, we investigated. You were the senior VP and general counsel for Samsung Display. You have been dedicated your life over 20 years for Samsung. You experienced cover litigation, negotiation, and international dispute resolution. The company you have been dealing with, such as Apple, Nokia, Ericsson, Lucent, Kkora, Sharp, there's all name a few. There's so many famous global companies. So we wonder, would you mind to share, when you do the negotiation or litigation, what is key to be success and what impressed you most for your professional career?
Yeah, it's an important question. Maybe too difficult for me. Yes, like Mei pointed out very well, I served as a corporate in-house counsel for a long time as an executive. What I have, because of time limitation, I'll be very brief on just very important issue I think we should be aware of. Is before, in the past, negotiations, licensing negotiations and litigations were mainly for between two parties, maybe plaintiff and defendant in litigation, and maybe licensee and licensor in licensing negotiations. But as we went on and we developed our concept, legal concept, there seems to be developing a concept of compliance or global compliance. Compliance includes IP compliance as well. What that means is we are not only talking about two parties anymore, because when a business is operated, the business cannot stand on its own. It has other parties involved, like if you are Chinese manufacturer, maybe you are supplying your parts to global companies. And the concept of compliance is not just covers you, but also covers the kind of company that you are supplying your parts to. So you cannot just say, okay, I am safe, everybody's safe. No. So I need to be safe, but also the people you are working with, they also need to comply with the regulations, and they also need to feel safe. So I think we are more interconnected in a sense than in the past.
Thank you for President Kim. Very important guidance how corporates should work together. Then we'd like to turn the focus to Your Honor. It's your first time to China. Would you mind giving a word of advice to Chinese company for their better IP management?
First of all, I would like to say it's a very pleasant and enjoyable trip to this wonderful country. But I feel a little bit sorry, but I think it's not on me to give any advice to a company for the IP management. But if you look at the statistics of the European Patent Office, then you can see that China is one of the leading applicants there. And so I guess the most Chinese companies are very good, educated in IP management today.
Thank you, Your Honor. There's a great news. We heard President Kim was awarded the Industry and Energy National Merit Award in Electronics and IT by Korean Ministry of Trade because her contribution on many concerns, antitrust issue, IP issue, licensing, electronics, materials, software, TVs, a lot of achievements. So may President Kim kindly share your view and suggestion for future technology such as how emerging technology should position themselves and what is the key for them to achieve to be a successful company?
Thank you, Mei, for the question. To me, and in my opinion, to us, the emerging technologies is very important. In this sense, we may have started a little later than the Western companies, like, for example, Intel started semiconductor business earlier than Asian companies, and maybe Qualcomm started the telecom business earlier than any Asian companies. But on emerging technologies, we have an opportunity to get started earlier, and we don't have to fall behind if we are successful in identifying emerging technologies as our strength going forward for the region. And in that sense, this is very important to be able to recognize which emerging technology is going to be successful and which IP should be protected in this sense.
Thank you, President Kim. Highly appreciate for Judge Voit and President Kim very enlightenment, comprehensive information. We sincerely hope this interview can be helpful to the industry, and we would like to invite Judge Voit and President Kim soon back to our program again to reveal more highlights and guidance for the future technology for the better life of the society. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.